Protect your car with 3W Liners all-weather floor mats. Made from durable materials like TPE and rubber, our mats are designed to withstand rain, snow, and mud with deep grooves to trap dirt and liquids. For a custom fit and advanced protection, visit 3W Liners. That's the number 3, WLINERS.com today. Cases, innovation drives us. Since 2008, we've been creating cutting-edge technology products that make your life easier. With a focus on performance, design, and customer service, we're here to help you work smarter, not harder. Join us on our journey to simplify your world. Visit acasis.com today. That's ACASIS.com today.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farms, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com. Unlock a world of convenience with Mully Box, your one-stop solution for personalized subscription boxes delivered right to your door. From gourmet snacks to unique finds, each box is tailored to your tastes. Experience the joy of surprises. Subscribe today at mullybox.com. That's MULLYBOX.com.
Felger Mask.
We'll be right back after these quick words from our sponsors. This is Rogue Media Network.
At Fullwell, we bring together the expertise of registered dietitians, MDs, and OBGYNs to give you the best fertility support. Our research-backed bioavailable formulas are crafted with your health in mind, ensuring the highest quality and safety. From preconception to pregnancy and beyond, we exceed industry standards with independent testing for harmful contaminants. With our comprehensive practitioner directory, personalized care is always within reach. Fullwell, your trusted partner on your fertility journey. Visit us at fullwellfertility.com. Experience the perfect blend of exquisite craftsmanship and life-changing technology with Gevi. Every product is built with precision, featuring specialized parts that ensure durability, efficiency, and safety. We put every machine through 6,000 rigorous tests to guarantee long-lasting performance. With cutting-edge technology and a commitment to energy efficiency, Gevi makes your life easier, greener, and more convenient. Upgrade your everyday with Gevi. Visit us at gevi.com to discover more. That's gevi.com.
With San, owning iconic furniture no longer requires paying a premium.
We use the finest materials like Italian top-grain leather, known for its durability and luxurious feel, and apply meticulous attention to detail in every piece we create. Our replicas are crafted with the same care and precision as the originals, but a price that makes them accessible. With over 15,000 satisfied customers worldwide, we've proven that high-quality furniture doesn't have to come with a high price tag. Explore our collection today at san.com.
At Covers & All, we've revolutionized protective solutions with cutting-edge, customizable covers, tarps, and curtains. Using advanced tech fabrics that are 100% waterproof, UV tear, and abrasion resistant, we ensure lasting durability with hand-sewn double-stitch seams. Our commitment to quality, precision engineering, and customizable options is unmatched. With vertically integrated operations and express shipping, we deliver premier protection at affordable prices. Visit coversandall.com today for the perfect fit, guaranteed to last.
And now, back to our show.
The Cam Show, Rogue Media Sports Network, on this Monday. I'm your host, Cam Stewart. Zach Burke is behind the glass, keeping us on the air 5 days a week. We're here every weekday live at high noon Eastern time, and then available wherever you get your podcasts as well. Of course, today we are playing some Monday morning quarterback after the Patriots' just disastrous performance against the Steelers. One of the most frustrating games I've ever seen as a Patriots fan. And that's truly saying a lot versus, what we've seen the last couple of years. But we're going to tell you why this is the turning point for the Patriots, why they're actually very, very close to being a good NFL football team, which is crazy to think of after this week. Plus, Drake Maye took a step back, but it wasn't entirely his fault. We're going to go through all of the people that deserve some of the blame pie for Drake Maye's performance in this game and really the loss in this game. Plus, I want to talk a little Alex Bregman. Is anyone going to give that guy $40 million? Can the Red Sox afford to test that market? We'll go over all of that and more coming up on this episode of The Cam Show. But we start where we start, and on Mondays, it's definitely recapping a Patriots game. And more often than not in the history of The Cam Show, actually almost always in the history of The Cam Show, we're talking about a Patriots loss. And that was once again the case against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And this one stung a little bit different. Week 3 against the Steelers is the most frustrating Patriots game in recent memory. And that is really saying something from what we've seen. Like, they haven't had a winning season in 4 years. And since the start of last year, they're now 9-28. And they're 3-16 at home during that span. That is god-awful. And yet, this 7-point loss to a Hall of Fame quarterback is the most frustrating one. It was so bad, I actually watched Patriots fans leaving my local bar after drinking for 3.5 hours at that point, leaving the bar and then going right to the Packy around the corner so they could buy some more alcohol and drink some more for the rest of the day. That's why. That's why it was such a mess. That's why it was so frustrating. And when I asked myself why this was the most frustrating loss, it hit me. This was the most frustrating loss I can remember from the Patriots, not just because of recency bias, not just because of the 5 turnovers, not just because Drake Maye clearly took a step back after the best game of his career last week. It was the most frustrating loss because they're so close to being a good team. Like, it's right freaking there. You lost this game because of turnovers. Granted, it was 5 friggin' turnovers. 5 of them. But you didn't lose because of your offensive line. You didn't lose because your defense was getting gashed. In fact, your defense actually kept you in it, which is what happened a lot in 2023. And you didn't lose because your offense couldn't reach double digits like it did back in 2023 and last year. You lost because you refused to hold on to the ball. And like that is really frustrating. But it is correctable. Last year, you couldn't correct that offensive line. You couldn't make Jacoby Brissett more than what he had been for almost 10 years in the league at that point. You know, you couldn't just make that defense better in the middle of the season. But this game was so anxiety inducing because despite the fact that the other team probably has a top 5, top 10 at worst quarterback of all time, you were the better team. You should have won. How many times have we said that over the last 2 years? I don't know, probably about the same amount of times we've said, man, this country's really coming together right now. Like, it didn't happen. You lost games because you were so far inferior to your opponent. This was not one of them. That's a refreshing thought. And by the way, you look at this schedule, there's not a lot that the Patriots should lose because the other team showed up and put their uniform on, unlike the last 2 years. That's refreshing. Now, that said, I don't want it to sound like, oh, yeah, it's just turnovers. No big deal. You turned it over 5 fucking times. You can't do that at any level of football and win the game. Like, you just can't. So it's frustrating rather than dejecting because there are other parts of the game where you looked good and you looked better than you were the last 2 seasons. It's the most talent you've had in 3 years, which is crazy to say when you look at this team. But it is still really frustrating and not hopeful because you turned it over 5 times. In fact, the last time this is generational, man. Generational. The last time the Patriots turned it over 5 times in a game was against the Steelers. Matt Castle threw 2 picks. Teddy Bruschi led the team in tackles. And the only turnover the Patriots forced in that game was an interception by Mike Vrabel. Who else? That's how rare this is. That was November of 2008. And the last time they had two turnovers within the opponent's 5-yard line was 1978. So this is a ridiculously bad performance in the turnover margin. Okay? Like, I'm not trying to excuse that. This was brutal. Ramondre Stevenson has a bit of a fumbling issue. Who saw that coming? Surely there weren't any warning signs of that in his career. I mean, shit. He only fumbled 7 times last year. Come on. What's 9 fumbles in 20 games these days? It's only $1 million per fumble on his yearly salary. No big. Come on. And I'm going to talk about in the next segment why it's not Drake Maye's fault entirely, but his 2 giveaways were fucking terrible. To run a 17-play drive that eats up, 8 or 9 minutes off the clock right before the half and get no points out of it, that can't be acceptable. It can't be. And he slammed his head hard against the turf. I thought he had a concussion, but he doesn't come out of the game. Even when you have 20 minutes to evaluate him, a couple of seconds later because it's halftime. The 3 straight pass plays on the goal line, and that was a bad pick. Drake should be lofting it to the corner. Instead, he tries to throw a dart. It was deflected. I know it was deflected, but that's because it was the wrong throw. And Hayward barely grazed it. Would have been picked off anyway. The defensive back was right on that. And then the fumble. Oh, Drake Maye's fumble. Like, come on. I think all my neighbors thought I had gone catatonic because for this 10-second span, I must have yelled, throw it away, at least 30 goddamn times. I know he's a kid. I know he hasn't played a full NFL season yet. I get that. But that said, he has played quarterback before. He's played football before, I'd have to assume. And I think he's played quarterback most of his life, if I had to guess. That's like the game. That's not NFL. Like, oh, that's an NFL problem. That is a throwaway at any other level of football. It's the most obvious throw the ball away situation I've ever seen. Shit, even if he takes a sack, that's totally fine. The one thing you can't do is exactly what he did. You can't put the cape on and try whatever it is he was trying to do. Another fumble. A pick and a fumble on the goal line in this game. Bad situational football. But what I'm saying now is at least they're in situations. They're taking their own points off the board because they're actually in a position to score points. That's a difference from being like one of the 2 or 3 worst teams in the league, which they've been the last 2 years, to making that next step towards being okay and then good and then making other teams beat you rather than you beating yourselves. Like that game they lost in 2008, the last time they turned it over 5 times. They lost that game by 23 points. That's how it's supposed to go in the NFL. And really any level of football when you turn it over that much. You're supposed to get your ass kicked. By the way, obviously the Patriots became the first 11-win team not to make the playoffs in that season, and the Steelers won the Super Bowl. You're supposed to lose that game going away. The Patriots lost this game by 7 on a touchdown that Pittsburgh scored with 2 minutes left in the game. What I watched yesterday was a team that is better than 4 wins. We've all seen what the greatest NFL teams look like. And now, over the last few seasons, for those of us of a certain age, we've gotten to see up close and personal what the absolute worst NFL teams look like. Although I did notice that a lot of fans talking on social media, most people are raving about how great the uniforms look. I'm one of them. But there is that underbelly that saw those uniforms in action for years and say, yeah, they look just like those teams. Derogatory. But we've seen what the best NFL teams can look like, and we've now seen what the worst NFL teams can look like. This Patriots team doesn't look like either of those things, if we're being totally honest. Are they frustrating? Are they still making mistakes? Yes. Yes, yes, and yes. I'm not trying to give them a pass for that. What I am saying is last year, that first win against Cincinnati, that was a fluke. And you knew that was a bad team. They just had no talent and no direction and no identity. The Patriots this year are getting pretty close to an identity, pretty close. And they are stupid in a correctable way. Let's just say that. Because, look, there's plenty of bad in this game. Still more bad than good. You lost. But I still think there are good things to take away from this team. Because last week, week 2, you were gashed by Tua Tagovailoa. Again, just his career is on a lifeline that is playing the Patriots twice a year. They just keep bailing him out. They just keep giving him a career. A week after that, this defense, which had so many questions, then held Aaron Rodgers to 139 passing yards. One of the worst statistical games of his entire career. They forced 3 3-and-outs in a row in the third quarter. This group kept them in the game. And again, it's not like the offense was just totally stagnant like they were under Mack and Bailey Zappi, and they were trading 3-and-outs for 3-and-outs. You moved the ball. Again, it doesn't excuse turnovers, but you're moving the ball. There's semblance of an offense here. And despite being kind of underwhelming throwing the ball, the Patriots finally utilized Drake Maye's legs in a safe and effective way. He scrambled for 4 first downs in this game. Since the day he took over, since the day he hit an NFL field, we've been begging the team to let Drake get out of the pocket more and actually use his legs. I thought he used them really well on Sunday. He should have used them to go down in that fumble, but you know what I mean. He's scrambling. He's getting to the outside. He's done it 2 weeks in a row where he's got edge rushers bearing down on him, but he can use his speed to get to the outside and beat him to the spot. Did it again. And just looking at the stats, they had 160 more total yards than the Steelers. they nearly doubled Pittsburgh's output in rushing yards and doubled your own average in rushing yards in this game and had less penalties than your opponent. 10 years ago, when we'd heard that in Patriots commentary, we would have said, what fucking losers these guys are. They lost the game, but they're telling you about how they won the yardage battle. I know. And I'm not trying to say that this is a playoff team because they outgained the Steelers. But these kind of stats do show me that they're not hapless. That they're hopefully better than a 4-win team. And that's where you have to start here. For all those who were saying 10 or 11 wins, I said on the most optimistic side, they'll win 9 games. So I guess I'm kind of in that group too. You've got to realize this is going to take a while. When you have 2 drafts that yield you absolutely nothing except your quarterback, it's going to take a while. 2 drafts in the last 4, by the way, that have yielded you 1 player. It's going to be a minute. And your 2 highest paid guys, or highest paid guys who were already on the team before Vrabel, I should say. That's a good correction. Ramondre Stevenson and Kyle Duggar. One of them didn't even play. The other, you wish didn't even play, actively hurt you. But here's the thing. Carolina next week. They're a team that's also still building. Okay? But they just took one of the few inferior teams on their schedule and took them to the woodshed. They beat them by 30 points. It's time for the Patriots to show they can do something like that. When it happens, it's going to be a blowout. They're going to arrive here soon. There's going to be a game where they put it together, and it's going to be soon. I'm telling you. They've got more talent, especially on the defensive side of the ball. The quarterback is looking good. I know. He turned the ball over twice yesterday, and you can't have that. But he is looking capable. This offense is looking still somewhat capable, even though there's not a ton of talent there. They're going to arrive here soon. Just don't say I didn't warn you, okay? This team is close. That's what stuck out to me in this game yesterday. Like, I was losing my shit the whole game, okay? And I've probably lost some more hair since yesterday. Like, I'm no doubt, like I said, it's the most frustrating Patriots game, maybe that I've ever seen. Like, basing off the circumstances, because the circumstances were they should have won that game. And they just threw it away time after time. It took Pittsburgh winning the turnover battle by 4 to win the game by 7. My takeaway with these 2 fan bases are that the Steelers should be more worried. The Steelers should be more worried than the Patriots. They're hitching their wagon to a Hall of Fame quarterback, and that's the best they could do. Team had to give it to him. A team that's been bad the last 2 years had to give it to him. I thought somehow we were going to keep this streak alive. They just never lose to the Steelers, except yesterday. But anyway, I got hope from this, which seemed crazy to think of after the game yesterday, seemed crazy to think when I hit my pillow last night, seemed crazy to think even the beginning of this morning, but I said, you know what? I do have hope here because it took that catastrophic, a generational performance in terms of the turnovers to lose that game. Last year, 1 turnover would have lost them a game because they were just awful. They were worse than anybody they played. So I have some hope. I think they're going to be good here pretty soon. But I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comment section below. Then be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. We come at you live on YouTube every weekday at high noon Eastern time. And then we're available wherever you get your podcasts as well. I'm your host, Cam Stewart. Zach Burke keeps us on the air 5 days a week with your lunchtime alternative to Boston Sports Talk Radio. So check out the other videos going out on the channel, talking Patriots, Bruins, Red Sox, everything else going on in the world of Boston sports. It wasn't Drake Maye's best game yesterday. In fact, it was a noticeable step back from where he was in week 2. against Miami. But was the loss his fault? We're going to do a top 5 reasons you can't blame Drake Maye for this loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's coming up next on The Cam Show.
We'll be right back after these quick words from our sponsors. This is Rogue Media Network.
At Open Goal USA, we're revolutionizing training for both soccer and lacrosse with our innovative portable rebounders. Perfect for players of all ages and skill levels, our rebounders improve accuracy, control, and technique in both sports. Built with premium materials for durability and ease of use, they're ideal for training anywhere, anytime. Whether you're perfecting your soccer game or sharpening your lacrosse skills, Open Goal USA has you covered. Visit OpenGoAAALUSA.com and elevate your training today.
Relax with Hemp Delicious. Organically grown hemp, massively blended with delicious organic herbs, responsibly sourced for their holistic benefits. Each sip offers calming, antioxidant-rich wellness. Brewed just for you. Sip the calm with Hemp Delicious. Find your blend at hempdelicious.com.
Introducing Muck Off's classic pink bike cleaner, powered by revolutionary nanotechnology that breaks down dirt and grime on a microscopic level while protecting your bike's delicate finish. Developed by our mad developer Alex and tested by riders, our products are made by riders for riders. Discover more at us.muc-off.com, where we break the mold to bring you the best in bike care.
Visit roguemediamusic.com for more music.
Are you ready to take control of your health? At 4U Health, we believe wellness and lab testing should be accessible, inclusive, and yes, fun. With our tech-powered at-home lab test, you save time and money while feeling your best. Say goodbye to long waits and office visits. Check your health on your own terms with 4U Health. Visit 4uhealth.com today and free yourself from traditional medicine. That's the number 4uhealth.com.
And now, back to our show.
Back to our show, The Cam Show on Rogue Media Sports Network. I'm your host, Cam Stewart. Zach Burke is behind the glass, keeping us on the air, as he does every weekday at high noon Eastern time, and then available wherever you get your podcasts as well. We're your lunchtime alternative to Boston Sports Talk Radio. And today we're talking Patriots, of course, after that frustrating loss to the Steelers. And look, Drake Maye did not cover himself in glory in this game. As I've said so far in the show, he took a step back after what was a really good performance against Miami. But now I could smell it coming out of the oven, cooling on the windowsill. It's Monday morning. It's actually early afternoon, which means it's time to hand out some blame pie. You can't blame Drake Maye for this one, okay? And we're not going to do that. In fact, we're going to give you 4 guys that you do need to blame that aren't named Drake Maye. So let's get into it. After having what I thought was the best start of his career against the Dolphins in week 2, Drake Maye definitely took a step back in the next game against the Steelers. But now it's become a tradition for Patriots fans. Like, we all do it in the media, fans, Twitter, whatever. We line up Monday morning, sometimes even as early as Sunday evening, and we look Drake Maye in the eye and we say,
"Look at me, son. It's not your fault." I know. It's not your fault. I know. No, you don't. It's not your fault.
So whose fault is it? It's not the boy Wonder's fault. So whose fault is it that Drake Maye took a step back and the Patriots took a step back? Well, I think the first one is pretty obvious. First person you can blame, Ramondre Stevenson. Boy, I hope he won some cash, man, because clearly he had some on this. He had some action on this game. If anyone wanted to give this game away, it was Ramondre Stevenson. 2 more fumbles. 9 since the start of last season. What are we doing here? What are we doing here with Ramondre Stevenson? Had a nice game last week. Certainly did. Big time game last week. Had the longest reception of his career. But he pretty much single-handedly lost you the game this week. Took 7 points off the board all by himself. Okay? We've got to look inward here. We got to say, how can we use Ramondre Stevenson, and what is he doing for our ball club at $9 million a year? The franchise. For as much as I joke about we give so many excuses to Drake Maye, and we do, we've kind of done the same with Ramondre the last couple of years. Oh, there's no offensive line. Oh, they're down in every game. And look, I get it. That is a thing when it comes to running backs. It's probably taken some good years out of Jonathan Taylor's legs in Indianapolis because they stunk. But this is an opportunity for him to be one of the reasons why they don't stink. And it's the same old shit. Like, how are we in year 5 in the league and he still can't help but fumble the ball? God, I feel like Tim McGraw in Friday Night Lights trying to friggin' duct tape it to his arms. Like, how is this still happening? How is there nothing we can coach to this kid so that he stops fumbling the ball? It's actively hurting your team. He did not help you in this game, and he was not a net neutral. He hurt you in this game. To go along with 2 fumbles, he also had an impressive performance of 4 carries for 18 yards. You finally got some rushing game going. You doubled your output, your average output, and it's because Drake Maye was your leading rusher. And Ramondre Stevenson, the guy getting $9 million a year, was your 4th leading rusher in this game. So that I have a problem with. I do. Ramondre Stevenson is the first one you can lay some blame at the feet of for this performance, and maybe not exactly Drake Maye. Second guy you can blame that's not named Drake Maye, Mike Vrabel. Certainly you can. I've been a little underwhelmed by Vrabel so far, even though I still believe he's the guy. I'm still in here. But when I look at what Ramondre Stevenson did, it kind of reminds me of a situation where you got your kids at the park and one kid keeps pushing down one of the other kids, being a bully, and his dad is just sitting on his phone not paying attention. So who's the real problem in that situation? Is it the kid or is it the dad? So yeah, Ramondre Stevenson fumbles all the time, but who keeps putting him in the game? Here's something I miss about Bill Belichick that literally any coach could replicate if they have the balls. Discipline. Who was preaching that all offseason long? Oh, Mike Vrabel. Discipline and accountability. It's going to be different from when Gerard was here, and through 3 weeks, it looks like a Gerard Mayo team. Because he preached it all offseason long, and then we got to the games. Then we got to September. So far, 0 accountability. And Ramondre Stevenson's the poster child of that. No discipline, no accountability. On a good disciplined team, Ramondre Stevenson wouldn't even be allowed to get 2 fumbles in a game. He'd either be benched or he wouldn't be taking the biggest carries of the game when you need to score. Certainly wouldn't be getting carries on the goal line. On the flip side, that long drive before the half ended with 0 points. 3 straight passes at the goal line to start. Are we a team that can run the ball or not? That's another thing you preached all offseason long. We're going to be a tough team that's going to win on defense, discipline, running the ball. But that sequence and running a toss on 4th and 1 from your own 15-yard line, you're admitting you can't do that. You can't win games that way. Mike Vrabel let Drake Maye down. Ramondre Stevenson let Drake Maye down. Another guy is Pop Douglas let Drake Maye down. And not just in this game. But of course, that final play from scrimmage for the Patriots. How about a perfect poetic way to end it? Because after 5 turnovers and they get the ball to potentially march down the field and tie the game, I'm texting with people saying, okay, is it going to be a pick or is it going to be a fumble? But really, what it should have been was what it actually was with Pop Douglas. Just not a turnover on downs, I guess, but not a live ball turnover. Just something really, really, really fucking dumb. Really dumb. What was it? 4th and 2. They hit Pop about a half a yard away from the sticks, and he's got 2 guys there. Like, there are 2 Steelers ready to annihilate him. But instead of dipping down, falling forward, getting past the chains, he tries to go backwards. And guess what? It doesn't work. Everybody in the stadium and the millions watching on television can see exactly what's about to happen when he tries to bounce it. And I can't believe I heard Patriots media members after the game saying, yeah, I don't blame him. Yeah, 2 guys there. Really? You don't blame him. You're supposed to be a tough football team, and he's avoiding contact. Because I find it interesting. You had a guy at halftime who was inducted into the Patriots Hall of Fame who made a living out of getting first downs in pretty mucked up situations. Okay, Julian Edelman's getting that pass, and what is he doing? He is going low, and he is diving for a first down, which absolutely was attainable for Pop Douglas. Instead, he tried to bounce it back, and it lost them the game. It took the ball out of their hands in the final drive. And it's more than just this game for Pop Douglas, by the way. I'm wondering exactly what he does here. So far this year, 5 receptions for 13 yards and a touchdown. And you'll remember that touchdown against Miami was an 8-yard touchdown reception. So outside of that one 8-yard catch, he's got 4 catches for 5 yards this year. In week 1, he had 2 catches on 7 targets. In this game yesterday, he had 2 catches on 5 targets. What does he do for you? I'm sorry. What does he do? He should be one of the security blankets for Drake Maye. He's not. Like, this should be a guy a young quarterback can go to. 5'8", shifty, apparently gets open all the time. I don't see it. I never see it. He was your leading receiver last year on a bad team, but he was tied in receptions with Hunter Henry. That's your actual safety blanket. That's the guy that Drake Maye actually wants to go to when they need a money play. And when he goes to Pop Douglas, he does stuff like that. He's not giving anything to your team. If he went on waivers today, I think he'd make it on a playoff team's roster. I don't know how many teams are clamoring to get Pop Douglas in the door. That's all I'm saying. And to kind of go off that theme of guys who let them down yesterday, but mostly in all 3 games, how about Stephon Diggs? Can Stephon Diggs make that list? I think he can. Underwhelming so far. Is he 100%? I don't know. But if he's not 100%, why is he out there? Why is he out there? But again, 3 catches, 23 yards. That's it. And he has not provided you anything down the field. 13 receptions for 112 yards. That used to be a good game for Stephon Diggs. That's 3 games now. Again, nothing down the field. His longest reception of the year is 16 yards. Why is he here? And is that Stephon Diggs or is that Josh McDaniels? You're looking for a guy who can take a top off a defense, can unleash something down the field. Apparently, he can't do that. Or they're not designing anything for him to be able to do that. That's a problem, man. And my dad texts me about it like 10 times during every game. Where is Diggs? This is a big play. Why can't they look for Diggs? I don't know. But he certainly let the team down and let Drake Maye down in this game. And I said I'd give you 4. But I've got a 5th guy I want to talk about in the category of who let Drake Maye down. And that 5th guy is Drake Maye. Drake Maye let himself down in this game. You know, for the other 4 guys, we could tell Drake, hey, it's not your fault. Where was Stephon? Wasn't open. Pop Douglas, not getting down and getting the first down. Ramondre Stevenson, loves giving the ball to the other team. But you want to talk about loves giving the ball to the other team. One of the reasons why it was his best game of his career against Miami is because he didn't turn the ball over. In this game, he did it twice. Again, the wrong throw at the goal line. The wrong throw. I know it was deflected. It was deflected because it was the wrong throw. And it was one that the defensive back was still going to get to, whether it was deflected or not. But that's a touch pass to the back pylon, and instead, it's a dart that gets intercepted. And just like Ramondre Stevenson, that's a good drive that you get down to the goal line and you get 0 points. And the fumble, my God, the fumble. The most obvious throw it away football play I've ever seen. Ever seen. By the way, they had just picked up a 4th down. They just picked it up. Just picked up a 4th down and 1 from Drake Maye. And then he fumbles it on the next play. Because what is he trying to do? Who does he think he's fucking playing here? The Steelers are going to be mid, but A, that front is clearly the best part of their team. And B, this is not Virginia Tech that he's playing. This is not Wake Forest. Okay? You can't just put your cape on and do the shit that whatever the shit is you're trying to do. It was such a dumb play. It's probably the dumbest Patriots play of the year. You got to learn that, kid. You got to learn that. The first step towards being a great quarterback in this league is not turning the ball over. And he hasn't quite gotten there yet. He still has not quite gotten there. And that should be the easiest thing to take out of his game. And it hasn't been. It just hasn't been. So, yeah, you could talk about Mike Vrabel, Ramondre Stevenson, Pop Douglas, Stephon Diggs, and that's fine. This offensive line still wasn't all that great. Their blitz pickup still sucks. But Drake Maye also deserves a huge piece of blame pie for letting himself down. That was a step backwards from where we were in week 2. It's got to be better, man. Quarterback's got to be better. And your guys holding on to the football got to be better. This was not solely on Drake Maye, but unlike last year, this isn't one of those games where you just give him none of the blame, 0%. He gets a big piece of pie himself. You know, fill up on that blame pie, man. You didn't lose this game because of your quarterback, but he certainly contributed to it. Certainly contributed to it. That's why it was so damn frustrating. To me, the most frustrating Patriots game I've seen in a long time. But who are you blaming for this loss? And how can it be corrected? Let me know in the comments section below. Then be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, because we come at you with Boston sports stuff every single weekday, live at high noon Eastern time, and then available wherever you get your podcasts as well. Your lunchtime alternative to Boston Sports Talk Radio. I'm your host, Cam Stewart. Zach Burke keeps us on the air. Check out the other videos on the channel, talking Patriots, Bruins, everything else going on in the world of Boston sports. Coming up next, we're actually going to shift it to the Red Sox. Alex Bregman. I don't know if I want to test this, but is anybody else giving him $40 million? Should the Red Sox call his bluff in this offseason? Let's talk about it next on The Cam Show.
We'll be right back after these quick words from our sponsors. This is Rogue Media Network.
Welcome to Kitbag, the ultimate destination for football fans. Whether you're cheering for Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester United, or any other top club, we've got your team's colors running through our veins. From official replica kits to custom player prints of your favorite stars like Ronaldo, Messi, and Kane, Kitbag is your one-stop shop for all things football. Powered by Fanatics, we deliver to over 180 countries, ensuring you get the gear you need fast. For true football passion, think Kitbag. Visit kitbag.com today. That's kitbag.com. Kitbag. For 75 years, Nalgene Outdoor has been your trusted companion, fueling adventures and helping protect the planet. We're committed to reducing waste, improving access to clean water, and providing simple, safe, and sustainable products for you and your family. No gimmicks, just durable, well-designed bottles built to last. Join us on our mission to amplify life, not complicate it. Because at Nalgene, what goes into our bottles matters as much as the adventures they fuel. Explore more at nalgene.com. That's NALGENE.com. Looking for tickets to the hottest shows, games, and events? Ticket Liquidator is your one-stop shop for great prices, no hassles, and guaranteed tickets. Since 2003, we've been connecting buyers and sellers, providing access to sold-out events at prices lower than most secondary market options. Whether it's sports, theater, or concerts, our massive nationwide network ensures you get the tickets you want, guaranteed. For the best seats at the biggest events, start with Ticket Liquidator today at ticketliquidator.com. That's TICKETLIQUIDATOR.com. Ticket Liquidator.
I'm Hunter, the founder of Hello Cake, and today we're digging into ED meds. The number one thing we hear is that guys are sick of waiting for ED meds to kick in. Traditional ED meds take about an hour to kick in as they have to go through your digestive system, where Hello Cake's ED medication dissolves under your tongue and works in about 15 minutes. That's about 3 times faster than traditional ED medication. Curious about ED meds? Go to hellocake.com.
And now, back to our show.
Back to it. Cam Show, Rogue Media Sports Network. I'm your host, Cam Stewart. Zach Burke is behind the glass, keeping us on the air 5 days a week, live at high noon Eastern time, and then available wherever you get your podcasts as well. We've talked a lot about the Patriots and that loss to Pittsburgh and how damn frustrating that thing is, man. So frustrating. But now I want to talk about the Red Sox here. Speaking of frustrating, they don't get the sweep done. I think they're the worst team in the league when it comes to winning percentage in games where you can sweep. I might be wrong on that, but I think that's pretty close. They're like genuinely really bad at that. They're like 3 games under 500 in those kinds of games. But you needed a couple victories. You got them. You got 2 out of 3 from Tampa down there at that spring training facility. But it's still, you're sweating it out. You're sweating it out here in the wild card race. And what I'm wondering is specifically about Alex Bregman. This is going to be a really interesting offseason for the Red Sox, and it's really going to center around Alex Bregman, if you will. I don't want to test this theory out, but the deeper we get into September, the more I'm wondering, is anybody else going to give Alex Bregman $40 million a year? Again, with the Red Sox recent history, it's probably something you don't want to see play out. But if he opts out, even with the market, what it was for him last year, $40 million, it's going to be tough. In fact, when Passan tweeted it out, he said, barring another huge injury or something like a catastrophic slump, he's going to opt out. We're kind of in catastrophic slump territory. The dude hasn't hit in a month. I know he had a homer this weekend, but he hadn't hit in a month here. Okay, in his last 30 days, his OPS is 550, and that's gone up in the last week. That's gone well up in the last week. He's hitting 187 in the last month. Okay, he's striking out just as often as he's walking, and that's bad. 10 RBI in 30 days. That's not quite good enough, man. He's going to give you 50 RBI for a season. 60, whatever. Yeah, somewhere between 50 and 60. 3 extra base hits in the last month. 5. 3 doubles, 2 homers. 5 extra base hits in a month. That's Masataka Yoshida kind of numbers. And he's the worst hitter in the league. Bregman has been that bad the last month. And Sunday night, that game where Connolly Early's losing it early, no pun intended, you bring the infield in with a guy at third, and it's a hot shot to Bregman, who's in on the grass, and he spikes it to home plate. And Wong can't handle that. That's a Gold Glove third baseman. You can't make that play in a big game where you need to pick up your pitcher here. That's not good. That's not good. And he's still been very solid defensively the whole season. Definitely better at third base than what you would have seen from Rafael Devers. I don't care what any of you guys say about that. Alex Bregman's definitely a better defensive third baseman than Rafi Devers. But you got to worry a little bit here. Hey, he's a postseason player. And if the Red Sox get there, maybe that's where he earns his money again from somebody, whether it's the Red Sox or the Tigers or the Cubs or, God forbid, the New York Yankees. Because the Red Sox are back in it again. Second wild card. Holding off Cleveland here, but barely. Really not doing too well, though. They're a game up on Cleveland and Houston, and Texas looks like they're out of it here. They're 5 games back. They've lost 7 in a row. You can pretty much put a fork in them. But Cleveland, 9-1 in their last 10. They've surpassed the Astros, who are all of a sudden on the outside looking in. That's a scary, scary thought. There's no hotter team in baseball the last month than the Cleveland Guardians, man. They just won't stop winning. I don't know how. I don't know where their talent is, but they won't stop winning. In fact, someone noted the other day the performances they're getting out of their superstars in Cleveland. Their superstars being Jose Ramirez and Stephen Kwan. I love Stephen Kwan, man. Watched him play a lot in the Cape League with the Wareham Gatemen. I wouldn't call him a superstar. I know he's a terrific defensive outfielder. He's made a couple all-star teams. He's not a superstar, okay? But that's what we're talking about. That's how impressive Cleveland's been. Where Alex Bregman could really make his money is if the Red Sox do hold on and make it to the postseason, because they're more than likely going to be playing either the Yankees at a 2 seed or still potentially his old team, the Houston Astros. Okay? And that becomes important because if they're playing at Yankee Stadium, he's got a 1,000 OPS there this year. He's been awesome, actually. He's hit 440 at Yankee Stadium this year and had one of his best series of the season there at Yankee Stadium. Doubt that they'll be playing in Houston. That would take a lot. But that's a 1.126 OPS in the 3 games you played in Houston this year. Okay? And also knocked in 4 runs and had a couple of homers in his return to Houston. It's a little bit different in Cleveland, though. That's a wild scenario where that could happen. But he's only hit 785 OPS in Cleveland this year. So that's where he can make his money. But we're also talking about $40 million here for 31-year-old going into his 32 season when he gets his paycheck. But 31-year-old who's suddenly oft injured. The last couple of years he's had injuries. He missed over 40 games this year with a quad injury, muscle. Those don't go away. Those are tough. So I'm just asking the question, who's giving him $40 million? If you're the Red Sox and he opts out and you give him $45 million for a 3-year deal, which I don't think will happen, but more realistically, you give $35 million for a 6-year deal, I'm okay with that. I want Alex Bregman on this team. I think he's a terrific all-around baseball player, and I think he's a tremendous leader for this group. And I don't think you need 10 of those guys, but you definitely need to have a guy or two in the locker room who has been there, been through the battles and the wars. Right now in this locker room, this clubhouse, you have 2 guys who have been through the wars. Alex Bregman and Nate Lowe, who's not going to be on your team next year. That's it. Well, these other guys have been through it. Our oldest Chapman, I guess, he's a closer. He's not a guy who's out there on the field every single day winning World Series with these guys. Alex Bregman is. He's got two rings to show for it. Nate Lowe's got a ring to show for it. Those are your guys who have been in the battles. But all I'm asking is this. Who's giving him a better deal than what he's got with the Red Sox right now? He's got another opt-out after next season, by the way. Who's going to give him $40 million this year? If you're Alex Bregman, you might think long and hard about being like, you know what? I could put out a better performance than this. I could play 150 games. I like it here. Not enough to take a discount, but I do like it here. And I'm a big part of this team that I think is going places. Why don't I play for $40 million again next year and then see what the market is like? Because there are going to be sharks circling the waters here. Okay? But at 40, that might be the best he can get for a year. Might be. And I think Alex Bregman would think long and hard about doing that another year in Boston at $40 million and then seeing what the market is like. But Chicago, the Cubs, the Yankees, Detroit, they'll all be there again. They will all be looking for a guy like Alex Bregman, especially Chicago, because they're going to lose their best, not their best player, but their best asset, I guess, in Kyle Tucker. He's going to be gone. So they'll have money to throw around. But let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Then be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. We come at you live on YouTube every weekday, high noon Eastern time, and then available wherever you get your podcasts as well. I'm your host, Cam Stewart. Zach Burke keeps us on the air 5 days a week. We're your lunchtime alternative to Boston Sports Talk Radio, and we will see you on the next edition of a little ditty that we like to call The Cam Show.
Transform your workspace with Hanomi Ergonomics. From adjustable chairs to standing desks, we provide solutions for comfort and productivity, whether at home or in the office. Improve your posture, reduce strain, and work smarter. Visit us at hinomi.co today. That's HINOMI.co today. Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internex. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. Enjoy seamless, fast storage without compromising security. Visit Internext.com today and take control of your digital life. That's INTERNXT.com today. Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. Whether at home or on the go, NordVPN ensures your digital freedom. Stay secure. Download NordVPN today at nordvpn.com. That's NORDVPN.com. Sanes, we understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone, anywhere. Committed to excellence, we adopt a user-centric approach guided by ergonomics and medical science. With a team of seasoned professionals in R&D, design, and manufacturing, we prioritize quality across our entire product line. Visit twosains.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com.